People look to Mercedes Benz for luxury and sophistication, and the German automaker lives up to those expectations. Mercedes Benz has a history of producing aesthetically pleasing automobiles with impressive driving capabilities. One of the advantages of Mercedes Benz is its engine's power. It invests a significant amount of resources in research and development to get cutting-edge technology for its vehicles. That's why this most recent innovation could potentially leave all of its rivals in the dust, because it was something they did not see coming. What's new on the latest engine, and how does it work? You might be right if you think the internal combustion engine has reached the end of its useful life. However, Mercedes Benz, on the other hand, is confident that it can still achieve remarkable things in the time left. If you want to trace the history of car engines, we have to go all the way back to Carl Benz, who developed the first stationary gasoline engine. It was a one-cylinder, two-stroke unit that ran for the first time on New Year's Eve in 1879. Benz's engine was such a commercial success that he was able to dedicate more time to pursuing his lifelong goal of designing a lightweight car that is driven by a gasoline engine and in which the chassis and the engine constituted a single unit. The basic characteristics of the two-seater automobile that was finished in 1885 included a compact, high-speed, single-cylinder, four-stroke engine installed horizontally at the rear, a tubular steel frame, a differential, and three-wire spoked wheels. The engine output was 9.75 horsepower. This was a far cry from what the company that he founded does today. The auto giant is making great strides in developing numerous electric cars, but it is also dominating the market in terms of internal combustion engines. On January 29, 1886, he added a motorized intake slide, a controlled exhaust valve, high voltage electrical vibrating ignition with a spark plug, and water thermosiphon evaporation cooling. Benz then submitted a patent application for his vehicle, which was propelled by a gasoline engine. It was given the number 37435. The patent was issued a few months later in July of 1886 and is often considered the birth certificate of Mercedes Benz. The newspapers reported on the first public outing of the three-wheel Benz patent motorcar model number 1 a few years later, and Benz solved one of the most pressing issues with automobiles at the time. Benz then produced the 3-horsepower Victoria, which debuted in 1893 and was the first vehicle to use this type of steering system, and was followed by other vehicles with a variety of various bodies. The Benz Velo, a lightweight and affordable compact car, was produced in 1,200 units during the following year's summer, making it the world's first mass-produced automobile. Mercedes-Benz has been producing excellent automobile engines ever since the company was founded. For example, the compressor 55 AMG supercharged 5.4 litres SOHC 24-valve V8 was an absolute beast. This is the same engine installed in the SLR McLaren, which had 617 horsepower available to its drivers. In addition, Mercedes-Benz manufactured the MT755 AMG, which included an AMG dual turbocharged 6-litre SOHC 36-valve engine. It is a performance-oriented engine that is known for its broad application and powers cars like the 65 AMG. It is one of the most reliable engines and falls under the Mercedes-Benz umbrella. Over the years, it has evolved to produce more power than one can imagine while maintaining all of the reliability that it had before. In addition to that, there is a 32-compressor supercharger 3.2-litre 18-valve V6 engine. These engines were well known for their versatility. They could be installed in standard cars while having only moderate performance capabilities, but they were capable of being adjusted to perform far better. There were a few AMG vehicles that, when equipped with 32 compressors, could achieve top speeds of up to 155 miles per hour. Then there is the 73 and the 70 AMG, both of which have a normally aspirated 7.3-litre, 7-litre, 36-valve V12 engine. The 7 and the 7.3 were each capable of delivering 496 horsepower, while the 8 was able to deliver 525 horsepower. Hence, it should come as no surprise that Mercedes-Benz is responsible for producing the most potent four-cylinder engines in the world, given the company's long and illustrious history of engine development. This is why the firm has disclosed that the new M139 turbocharged 2-litre inline-4 produces a maximum of 416 horsepower, giving it a specific output of 208.9 horsepower per litre. Because of this, it is the most powerful four-cylinder engine, and its specific output is higher than that of virtually any modern supercar. Mercedes has made the engine available in two different trims, the base and the S, which is the beta version of it. It is far more potent than the Turbo 4 and the CLA 45 engine, producing 375 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. It is said that the engine weighs a total of 554 pounds. When compared to its predecessor, the engine featured numerous modifications and improvements. For instance, the prior engine was positioned in a transverse orientation, but the new engine was positioned in the opposite direction. As a result, the exhaust manifold and turbocharger will be housed in the back, adjacent to the firewall, while the intake system will be situated in the front next to the bumper. Because of this, Mercedes can create a flatter front section, which improves the vehicle's aerodynamic qualities, as well as shorter air ducts with fewer diversions and are used for the exhaust and air intake. This is the first time that roller bearings have been installed in the dual-scroll turbocharger. Lowering the amount of mechanical friction allows the turbo to spin more readily at both the turbine housing and the exhaust manifold, which divides the exhaust flow so that it may be fed into the turbine in two separate stages. Because it is electronically controlled, the wastegate has improved responsiveness and provides more accurate intake pressure regulation. The turbocharger is cooled by using a combination of fresh air, oil, and water. The turbo housing has a ducted engine cover that functions similarly to an air deflector to draw in ambient air. AMG claims that the M139 has a power delivery similar to a naturally aspirated engine and a dynamically developing torque curve. Mercedes got this idea from the AMG GTS twin-turbo 4-litre V8. The engine block of the M139 is made of hill-cast aluminium. This requires pouring molten aluminium into a water-cooled metallic mold to cool and solidify the material rapidly. The result is a compact construction with high strength. The closed deck construction was borrowed from race cars. It gives the crankcase an exceptional rigidity to weight ratio and makes it possible to achieve higher peak combustion pressures. The low-friction, high-strength crank assembly consists of forged steel crankshaft and forged aluminum pistons. Mercedes-Benz repositioned the spark plugs and injection nozzles to now be located on this cylinder head. Because of this, the exhaust valves had to be widened, which allowed fewer gases to leave the combustion chambers while reducing losses to a minimum. The engine can provide maximum output even at very high revolutions per minute. This also marks the first time in AMG's history that a four-cylinder engine would utilize both port and direct fuel injection. The business claims that direct injectors were required to supply fuel to the combustion chambers. The M139 engine also features a completely redesigned cooling system. In addition to the large radiator located up front, it also has a radiator located in the wheel arch, and it has an intercooler that converts air into liquid. An electric pump with variable speed pumps through the coolant for all three heat exchangers, and the electronic control unit, ECU, that is cooled by air is located on top of the air filter. While the engine's cool circuit is responsible for cooling the transmission oil, a heat exchanger mounted on the transmission also contributes to the cooling process. In the meantime, the electrical water pump of the engine runs independently from the engine, which enables it to activate later and allows the engine block to warm up more quickly. In addition, it operates on demand, meaning that it can be turned on or off at lower engine speeds depending on what is required. According to AMG, the new pump not only protects the engine from heat damage when idling in hot temperatures, but also ensures complete engine output and optimal heat dissipation across the entire spectrum of the engine's performance. The M139 engine receives a unique treatment similar to what AMG does with its higher performance engines. The engine is constructed by hand at the MGS engine facility in Germany under the one-man or one-engine program. Mercedes developed a brand new assembly line just for the engine. Every engine is given a plaque bearing the signature of the mechanic who constructed it, and underneath it is engraved with the question, "What do you think of Mercedes-Benz's new M139 four-cylinder engine?" That's all from this video. Do you think this engine will affect Mercedes' adoption of EVs? See you in the next one.